Hello and welcome back to the channel. Today I'm giving you my first impressions on the run review of the HOKA Clifton 9 GORE-TEX. Let's go. Hello everybody and welcome back to the channel. So yeah, first run in the HOKA Clifton 9s, the winterized GORE-TEX version. Couldn't have chosen a better day for it. It's been raining on and off, so I'm bound to get caught in a shower, puddles everywhere, and we've got an amber warning for Storm Kieran coming in imminently. So I'd say near ideal conditions to give these shoes a run for their money. And it's only just turned November, so don't judge me, but I'm also trying out these new shorts from Happy Stride today. Gotta try them out, get them tested, ready for the Christmas runs, Christmas Day park run, vegan runners, Christmas meetup. Gotta be done in the old Christmas running gear. Okay, so if you run in a normal pair of Cliftons, you might be wondering what's different about this winterized version. And interestingly, this is the first time HOKA have released a winterized shoe. So probably the biggest kind of standout feature on these Clifton 9s is that they have a GORE-TEX liner. I'm sure a lot of you are familiar with GORE-TEX now. Basically anything with the word GORE-TEX in it means it's going to be waterproof, or should be waterproof. So other tweaks and changes they've made to the shoe: you've got slightly different traction on the bottom of the shoe, slightly more durable rubber. They're calling them their kind of winterized traction pods for better grip in wet conditions. The upper has been tweaked as well, so a slightly thicker upper, less kind of breathable and see-through, might be a little bit more durable. I think the idea is to keep your foot slightly warmer on those cold, wet winter runs. And then finally, you've got some reflective decals wrapping around the entire shoe, so any light that hits those decals is going to bounce off and hopefully catch the attention of drivers or cyclists in the dark, just to give yourself a bit of added extra visibility so that people know that you're there. In the men's shoe, they come in two different colorways. They've got the black and the blue. The black appears to be the more popular of the two. I couldn't get those in my size, but the blue looks a lot better in real life than it does online, and they look like quite an eye-catching shoe. Really kind of neon bright dark blue, and yeah, quite enjoy how they look. Now, a lot of shoe companies release a couple of models of their shoes with some kind of winterized version, usually with GORE-TEX, usually with a slightly thicker upper. And I think I've tried it a couple of times before, but only in trail shoes. And to be honest, I never thought I would bother with a winterized shoe again, because it just doesn't work, and it just doesn't work with trail shoes. So the waterproofing does work, but on the trail, if it's been lashing it down like it has been here for the last 5 years, then you're going to run into a big puddle. Most trail shoes are going to be sort of ankle height at the most. As soon as you go in anything that's that kind of depth, where you've got water kind of splashing inside the shoe, that's it, really game over for the Gore-Tex, because that water gets inside and it can't drain very well, and your feet are wet, which is the whole point in wearing waterproof shoes. But then I saw HOKA had released, one of their most popular daily trainers, has a winterized version. I was in the market, it's winter, I don't particularly like getting cold feet, so I thought, why not give these a try, and they might just be good enough. It might make a bit more sense in a road shoe to have that waterproofing option. And so far, after 20 minutes, they're holding up. I've purposely run through quite a few puddles for the purpose of this review, and I can't feel any water getting into my shoes so far. But early days, I'll give it another 10-20 minutes and I'll give you my full first impressions review. Alright, so that's the halfway point. We're about 4 miles in. Time to turn back and get home before it gets dark. And yeah, I've enjoyed the first run so far. So initial impressions, just getting them out of the box and onto my feet. So I didn't muck around with the lace thing, just literally undid them, got my feet in, tied them up, played with the tongue a little bit just to get it to lie flat, and then out the door and off we go. And the first kind of sort of 100 steps in them, I was a little bit worried. They just felt very firm and very stiff. And I couldn't remember my Clifton 7s being like that. So yeah, very different kind of experience to begin with. Then after about sort of 5 minutes, they'd warmed up a bit, and yeah, they just kind of came to life really and started to feel a lot more natural and a lot more fun to run in. So let's start off with the kind of the winter elements to see how they're holding up. So as I say, I've been running through puddles, standing in them, a little sort of stream there as well, just to see how the upper holds up, and probably going through more water than maybe you would on a normal run. And can't feel any water on my feet, so good news, the Gore-Tex is working and my feet are dry. So at the moment, awesome stuff on that front. Then you've got the traction as well, which is slightly different from the usual Clifton 9s. That's been actually noticeably very good right out of the box. So been running on slick tarmac and then very leafy, gritty, hard-packed kind of trail here, and not once have I worried about sort of slipping or losing my traction at all. So even on like wet leaves and things like that, and on some like the very smooth wet tarmac, you can normally kind of feel your usual daily trainers just giving up a bit of that traction, but these are doing very well at the moment, so that's pretty good. And then in terms of the upper, well, I am kind of noticing, and maybe I need to go on some more muddy trails, but they're staying quite clean, and I don't know if that's because of the coating on the upper, but running through like muddy puddles and things, normally the toes kind of get a bit muddy, and then after a while most of your running shoes go that kind of like dull kind of colour, especially Rachel's Clifton 9s at the moment. She's been going on along the muddy farm tracks, and what was once a lovely pale yellow is now mostly brown. But these seem to be doing pretty well on that front, and yeah, that upper's staying nice and clean. So in terms of the fit, I've gone with the standard sizing. I think they do these in a wide as well. But straight out of the box, kind of the first thing I noticed about putting my feet in them is that my foot didn't quite line up with the contouring of the insole. And I don't know whether that's just because most of the shoes that I'm running in now have got plenty of miles on them, and they kind of mold around the shape of your foot after a little while. But yeah, I did notice that it wasn't immediate comfort right out of the box, but as I say, they've warmed up now, they've softened up, and I can't feel that contouring kind of like pressing in anywhere uncomfortably. So I think they've just begun to mold to my foot, and it's a very comfortable ride. I always think with Hokas, when you see them online or on people's feet, they look like they're going to be the most cushioned, softest, plushest shoes ever till you get them on your feet, and they're always a lot firmer than I remember or how they look. So if you're buying these looking for something very squishy and comfortable, you know, akin to the sort of a gel Nimbus from Asics, or something like the Glycerin or the Ghost from Brooks, then you might be a bit surprised, but you won't be disappointed. Although they're firm, still a very comfortable ride. Like I say, I think they will soften up a little bit as the miles tick over. But yeah, very comfortable shoe. The upper's sitting nicely. It is running a tad warmer, but that's okay as the temperatures get a bit cooler. Sure, that will help with foot comfort. The only thing that I will play around with on my next run is the lacing, just to dial in that fit a little bit more. The first kind of 10 minutes or so, they just felt a little bit loose in that heel cup, and there's a little bit more kind of room on the top of my foot than I'd usually like. So I just play around with the lacing just to dial in that fit. But no worries really, and they're true to size, very comfortable at the hill, extremely plush around that tongue and the collar as well, so that's all very comfortable. And I suppose the other thing to mention about the upper is those decals. How much of a difference they really make, I don't know, but looking down you can see the light bouncing off them, so it might be just enough, just that little bit of extra safety whilst you're out there running in the dark. So I didn't pop them on the scales at home, but they feel light. I don't think they can be much above 260 grams in my size, which is where I like most of my daily trainers to sit. Don't tend to like to see them go above that when you're clocking long miles on those long runs. It's nice to have something fairly light on your foot. If you already have the Clifton 9, then you already know what the shoe's built for. It is a really just kind of solid all-rounder, really built really for daily training runs like this, where I'm not pushing the pace. Long runs, I comfortably ran a half marathon in the Clifton 7s. These feel like they'd be very nice all the way up to marathon distance, even beyond that really. Feel very comfortable, just an easy shoe to run in. They're probably not going to be your first choice if you're thinking about a speed session, and if you have a few shoes in your rotation, then that lighter pair, that more nimble pair is probably going to be your go-to. But for things like fartleks, where you're mixing up the pace, tempo runs, and really most speed work sessions, they're going to be more than adequate to get you through the session nicely. Yeah, so we're just ticking along now, getting up to the 10k mark. One thing I have noticed about the fit, and I think it's just because I haven't got the lacing dialed in yet, but if you're heading downhill, you do get a little bit of bunching up in that toe box as my foot kind of just slides forward a little bit. But I think that's because of two reasons. One, they're new, and new shoes, at least the inner always feels a little bit slippy, and then the lacing and the lockdown I just need to dial in, so I don't think that'll be a problem. But I'll let you know in my full review once we get them upwards of 200 miles or so. So at the moment on the HOKA website, they are retailing at £150, which isn't too bad in this day and age where everything seems to be going up in price. That's a pretty good price for these shoes. The normal Clifton 9s are 130, but if you're a new HOKA customer, you sign up to their mailing list and get 10% off, which puts these at 135. So for £5 extra, you get the winterised version and that waterproofing, which, so long as it works, I think is quite fair. Right, that about does it for my first impressions review. I'm amazed I haven't got rained on yet. Just went out at just the right time. If you're running this week, Storm Kieran's rolling in. Be safe out there. But thanks very much for watching. As I say, I'll give you my full review later on. In terms of other things that are coming up on the channel, got the Eden Project Marathon videos to come out, so both me and Rachel ran that. It's an emotional ride, definitely the toughest marathon I've ever done. We've also got Heartland's parkrun video to come out, and I've got like 3 or 4 pairs of shoes that I need to do a full review on. Brooks Hyperion Max has got over 650 miles now. Amazing pair of shoes. Got the Puma Magnify Nitro 2, the Forever Run Nitro 2. You can do 4 reviews of those. 2 very capable shoes as well. And then the Deviate Nitro 2, which I think has been my favourite shoe of this year so far, also by Puma. So look out for all those videos, plenty of content to come. But thanks for watching, and until the next one, be the best you.